Thomas Hart Benton was born in Neosho, Missouri in 1889. He died in Kansas City in 1975 after returning to his Midwestern roots and after 79 years as a painter. His interim journey included significant stays in Paris, New York, and formative travels all over the United States. He journeyed and painted what he called the cultural history of America. Benton was a realist. His images have been called iconographic. Regarding his self-stylized images, he said, "I realize that I withdraw all claims to absolute objectivity. I waive such claims cheerfully and admit all implications. I recognize the distorting offices of the self. Nevertheless, I am trying to tell the truth about my going places." As a boy, Tom developed a love of drawing cartoon-like sketches of people, scenes, and historical events. By his teens, he had developed a knack for capturing essential likenesses that earned him a reputation and landed him his first paying job as a cartoonist for a local newspaper. Tom was beginning to see a future for himself as an artist. Tom's father, however, strongly objected, saying that he had greater ambitions for him as a lawyer or politician like himself. In Benton's words, "Almost as soon as I could walk, my father, in some pride of spirit about his first child, began taking me on his political tours. My taste for travel got a very early start." My recollections of the Missouri of my childhood present a very rustic and backwoods atmosphere. The country was isolated and self-sufficient. Life was easy, and although perfectly secure, had very much of a pioneer flavor. His father, in an effort to suppress Tom's wish to become an artist, sent him off to military school. This lasted less than a year, when his father relented and sent Tom to the Art School of Chicago, where Tom discovered oil painting. In Tom's own words, he said, "I have never forgotten the nervous excitement that enveloped me when I began to squeeze out the colors. From the moment I stuck my brush in a fat glob of paint, I made up my mind to be a painter." In 1908, Benton left Chicago for Paris, the center of the modern art movement. He began to experiment with Fauvism. Post-Impressionism, Modernism, Constructivism, Pointillism, Cubism, and other emerging abstract forms of painting. In Paris, Tom's life appeared chaotic as the young artist came to grips with misunderstandings, feuds, poverty, fallouts, struggle, marriage, and failure to find the recognition he felt he deserved. Moved to New York in 1912 and discovered a bohemian lifestyle as an artist with friends who were also finding success against the backdrop of the burgeoning metropolis. One artist in particular, Stanton McDonald Wright, shared with Tom his new synchronism that allowed Tom to infuse color into his earlier cartoon-like technique. At last, Benton's work began to sell. He painted with zest and energy in full color and on a grand scale. His new work reflected a feverish intensity and a prodigious output. He became a storyteller-painter. This was the beginning of his reputation as a muralist, and he required large spaces on which to paint. After a brief period in which Tom enlisted in the Navy, he developed a renewed interest in paintings of people and things that he felt had cultural relevance. This became his stated mission as a painter, to paint a cultural history of the United States, and Benton alone would choose the people and events he would paint. From the start, his own paintings brought both conflict and adoration. No middle. You either liked or hated what he painted. Benton's art had a brash, almost billboard quality. His subjects moved, and those often rough, bold depictions brought both shock and admiration. Benton's style may have appeared to some people rude and cartoonish, but they had power, strength, and artistic significance that kept pace with the growing complexity of his paintings, particularly his murals. Benton's art may have the look of cartoons, but that was just a ruse for his emotions. The truth, Benton said, was complicated, but murals brought out all of his skills and became the new hallmark of his paintings. He may have occasionally acted like a cowboy, but he didn't paint like one. Benton claimed that his return to Missouri allowed him to leave modernism with what he called aesthetic dribblings and morbidly self-conscious themes. He left for good the art for art's sake world and began exploring new tools for creating his new world of murals. Alfred Stieglitz suggested that Tom build clay models of his large, many-faceted murals. This enabled Benton to no longer draw in a hit-or-miss composition. He said this technique enabled him to paint well, and paint well just about every time. In the space of 5 years, from 1930 to 1935, Benton produced 4 enormous murals that covered over 7,000 square feet. These achievements earned him fame and the respect of the art world. At that time, and in his words, he said, "I must confess that Chicago, Paris, and New York have had for me, and still have, great attraction. However, even though I have little faith left in the leadership of New York, and I'm through with it, I still love the place." In his words, "For over 20 years, I have spent the better part of my time in New York, and though I have looked for a long period to other environments for the subjects of most of my pictures, I have become habituated in my manner of living to its ways. And although I have never belonged to any of them, the warring cliques of the city have provided a constant accompaniment to my doings. Their disapproval of me and my artwork has become a source of stimulation and amusement. I have longed to go before them and shout and rant and step on the corns of their beliefs. With a few drinks, I could work up quite fervent beliefs of my own, though I generally forgot them the next day. They afforded me many evenings of entertainment. Here are some of Benton's response to critics and detractors on his Jefferson City mural. Although I expected criticism, I must confess that the character of some of that occasioned by my Missouri mural came to me as a surprise. I was not in the least hurt by it and have really profited by the advertising it gave me. I have had as well a lot of fun, pitting my wits against those who objected to my ways of seeing and doing. Just the same, when the storm of critical comment came, I was not prepared for its astonishingly conventional and often vindictive character. I expected my legislative friends to have their little jokes, and I expected a few moralists and conservative art lovers to express their distaste for my performance, but that was all. I did not expect any extensive objections. I did not expect that anybody would think that I was trying to degrade or make a joke of my state, which I treated as Missouri's social history in a realistic manner. Missouri is a commonwealth whose motto is, "You've got to show me." I was pretty sure that what I was showing was taken favorably. When, however, my work was done and I was gone from Jefferson City, a storm broke over me, and my illusions about a good many Missouri things were broken with it. I saw that realism was not by any means a completely shared Missouri virtue, and that the habit of calling things by their right names and representing them in their factual character was not wholly agreeable to so many people as I supposed. I found that a lot of people I supposed were favoring me and standing by my work were really miles away from it. I found that my basic attitudes were entirely incomprehensible to many people, and that my realism and intention to be faithful to my actual Missouri experiences were regarded as pretentious. The idea that I could be sincere in my attitudes and performances was beyond the reach of a lot of Missouri minds. And now, the following are excerpts from Benton's autobiography titled Thomas Hart Benton, an American Artist, published in 1983. A mural for me is a kind of emotional spree. The very thought of the large spaces puts me in an exacted frame of mind, springs up my energies, and heightens the colors of the world. A kind of thoughtless freedom comes over me, I don't give a damn about anything. I paint with downright sensual pleasure. I get cocksure of mine and temporarily youthful. I run into the childish egomania or adolescent emotionalism. And when the mural is finished, I have a letdown. I now know there is no such thing as failure in the pursuit of art. Merely to just survive in that pursuit is a success. Pictures may fail to please, movements may fail to survive, but the artist has his rewards anyhow. He may lose his public and his market and still get full compensation for his efforts. Quite apart from the public values of art, those which give it significance in the social history of a people, the act of artistic creation has its own psychological payoff, and a very considerable one. The rewards of art for the artist himself are concomitants of its practice. They lie in the life-heightening acuteness of everyday occupational experiences. The only way an artist can personally fail is to quit work. Thomas Hart Benton died in Kansas City on January 19, 1975, at 79 years of age. Matthew Bagel, the editor of Benton's autobiography, announced, "He worked in his studio until the very end on the sources of country music, a 6-foot by 10-foot panel." The image of the artist dying with his brushes and palette at the ready is an image that Benton might have appreciated.